The Samsung Galaxy A54 5G versus the Galaxy S21 Ultra. And this isn't going to be about the S21 Ultra specifically, we'll reference it, but it's more of a stand-in for an insert your favorite 2 or 3 year old flagship here. Because I get a lot of comments on my A54 videos and other videos on mid-range devices saying, well, why would you buy that when you could buy something like this that's 2 or 3 years old that gives you a lot more for around the same price? And that used to be an easier discussion to have. That used to be an easier discussion to make. When mid-range phones were giving you 2, 3, 4 gigs of RAM, absolutely laughable cheap builds, processors that could barely boot Android, let alone run it well, when you still had to download things like Facebook Lite in order to use them on mid-range devices. That was a legitimate conversation to have. That gap has narrowed significantly in the last couple of years. You know, the Pixel 6a did a heck of a lot to narrow that, but then you have something on the Samsung side, if you're a One UI fan, with the Galaxy A54. So if you are somebody that loves Samsung and wants to look at these devices, it's more of a conversation than it once was. It's like, I have an automotive background, so this is what I think of. You could spend the same money on a used car that's a few years old and pick up some features that you wouldn't normally get on a new vehicle at that price. Perhaps it's leather, a moonroof, navigation, things like that you wouldn't get on the newer model of the same car spending the same money. But now there are advantages over here. Longer support, right? Longer warranty with the new car. Perhaps the engine is a bit more efficient, better gas mileage. You're going to get better battery life out of your A54, a newer device, than you are the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, for example. So those are things you have to consider now. It's not the blowout that it once was. The other thing to consider, and the reason why these devices are so important and that they have a place, is that this device, they're comparably priced now. If you find a decent one of these, it's about $380, and right now Amazon links for both these will be in the description. But you're looking $375. So this is why I kind of picked the S21 Ultra. I think it's the most comparable one price-wise right now. So you look at that, and you think, wow, why wouldn't I pick this up? Well, here's another thing to think about. Carrier deals. I can't walk in to a T-Mobile store and get an S21 Ultra right now today for $4 extra on my bill. Right? I got to pay the entire $400 full out. And I know a lot of people comment and say, enthusiasts, it's hard to wrap their head around. Well, who finances these phones? Well, tens of millions of Americans do every single year. So it's significant. So think about this. If you're a family of 4 and you walk into T-Mobile and you go ahead and you say, well, I want to get 4 of these for my family. We like the features, it's good enough for us, and that's $16 a month versus having to go online, go on eBay, go on Amazon, get a used device, which you don't know how it was treated, you don't know who had it, you're going to be keeping it for 4 years, and paying $1,600 out of pocket, roughly. That's a big hit. $16 a month versus $1,600 up front. Big enough difference for families and people who are used to financing devices that these older flagships aren't always an option for everybody. Like I said, there's the used component to it. There's stuff like that. There's also the support that we talked about, that warranty. You're getting an extra 2 years of One UI. So if you are a big One UI fan, if you are somebody that loves those new Samsung features, you're going to pick up more of that over here than you are on the S21 Ultra. And the feature sets are different, obviously. This is performing better, but it's not display-wise. I think it's going to be almost a tie. Obviously, you're getting the quad HD resolution on the Samsung S21 Ultra or an older flagship. You are getting a slightly better build quality, but it's not the blowout it used to be. With the exception of a plastic frame, if you threw a metal frame on the A54 and you told me what's the price of this device, and I didn't use it, I didn't do any performance stuff or anything like that, I would tell you it's a $600-700 device. Whereas the ones of yesteryear, devices in this price range, would tell you it's a $200 device. And you start using it, you feel even worse. You pick up wireless charge on the older device. You pick up reverse wireless charge. You pick up a more diverse, versatile camera system with the older device. But, again, in a couple of years, it's not going to be getting the latest and greatest One UI features that you're still going to get over here. So if you're somebody that's not an enthusiast, okay, you don't change your phone every year or two, this is going to be a lot more sensible and economical solution for you. And that's why these phones are important, and that's why these phones exist. So don't just all of a sudden just say, well, the older flagship, the 2 or 3 year old flagship, blows this out of the water. Yeah, in some categories it does. But there are things that are going to be useful for a certain type of consumer, like support and like $1 cost out of pocket per month, that makes sense for more people who aren't enthusiasts. Most people who use this the Galaxy A54, are going to be perfectly happy with the performance of the device for the limited amount of time and whatever they use it per day. The enthusiast is going to get more out of the S21 Ultra. Of course, then, a couple years down the line, they'll trade this in, or they'll get another old flagship and start the cycle all over again. Not everybody does that. There are people who are going to pick this up, pay their $4 for 2-3 years, and then keep it for 4 years until the back is cracked and the screen is falling off and it's unrecognizable. Because that's what a lot of consumers do. So that's the kind of lens that we have to look at these comparisons through. When I say I like a device and it's going to get the job done, it's for everybody. I understand that there might be better choices out there for certain people who are enthusiasts and who are into this stuff. Hey, listen, I'm right there with you. Would I pick up this device? Yeah, of course. Because I'm somebody that's going to get the most out of it, and also I'm somebody that's used to swapping out devices. But if that's not you, then the A54 or something like that. Plus, it's going to be more power efficient, not running as powerful a processor. Everybody talks about how the Exynos in this heats up. Listen, you don't know heat until you've powered up, updated, and starting putting heavy load on an S21 Ultra with that Snapdragon 888. If it's wintertime, you put one of these in your pocket, you don't need a coat. Trust me, this thing gets warm. And I'm not talking warm like, a little toasty. It gets hot. You'd touch, that's something up there. What's going on? That's because the Snapdragon 888, we have very selective memories. We like to hate on certain things and not remember the flaws of yesteryear. These Snapdragon 888s weren't the most efficient. Battery life is better over here. Support is better over here. Build is close. This is going to win on extras. Higher resolution display. Same refresh rate, by the way. Same quality of panel. I like the OLEDs on both of these. They both get plenty bright, but this one is going to win on the resolution. Build quality is a little better. You get the full metal construction. You get the glass frosted back. Very nice stuff here, but you're going to get some upgrades over here. Like I said, the efficiency and things like that. This battery lasts about an hour longer than this one over here. And then there's the out-of-pocket cost. So when you start to think of all the entire package between an older flagship like this, and you get extra RAM over here as well, you get some nice things. No one's saying that this isn't a viable option. And I agree with people a lot of times. Say, well, just get this. Yeah, I get it. But for a lot of people, that's not an option. That's not something they're going to go on eBay and pick one of these up. They're going to go on Amazon and buy one of these used. They're going into their AT&T store. They're going into their Verizon store. They're going into a T-Mobile store or Metro, whatever it happens to be, and saying, what can I afford? What makes sense to me? And what's going to get the job done for what I'm willing to pay? And that's where these mid-rangers really excel at that. $4 a month. $4 a month. They have some other deals right now. I think a Pixel 7 you could get for $4 a month as well. But if you're a Samsung fan, that's usually where the argument comes in. Well, get a S20 FE. Get one of these guys. Well, yeah, that money's up front. Like I said, family, you're paying $1,000 to get a few of these, or you're picking these up for like $12 a month. That's what you have to weigh and kind of consider. So when I'm talking about this as a value and this as being worth it, I'm coming at it from that angle. I'm not necessarily saying it's better or you should get this over something else. I'm looking at this device for what it provides and the value it can handle over a length of time. Let me know what you think below. I know there's a lot of talk about this, and I get it. Like I said, I'm right there with you. I mean, I would pick this guy up. I would be rocking the S21 Ultra before I would the A54, but that's not to say this is a bad device, and they've come a heck of a long way than what they used to be in the mid-range, where it was a no-brainer. I didn't care what they were telling you. When there was a time when I don't care what it would have cost you extra, the flagship was the choice to be making over something like this because the performance was just that bad, the build quality was just that bad, the displays were horrid, but that's not the case anymore. Let me know what you think below. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-alicious day.